Today's R&B with a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host, guests, and callers who are responsible for their content and do not reflect the opinions of In Touch Radio or its staff.
Yeah. This is Power Move, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. What it do? I got my partner in crime, Mr. Kevin Carr, Mr. Courage Crossover in the house. How's it going, partner?
Hey, man, I'm great. Can you hear me? Number one. Number two, how you doing, my brother? My man, 50 grand all the way from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's in the house. No doubt, baby.
Out. What's
yes,
up, brother?
sir. Man, you know, it's getting a little chilly, boy. I'm loving it. This is my favorite time of the year when it gets a little chilly here in Tampa Bay. You know, I was talking to a couple of friends up top, and they were like, yo, it is cold outside. They said, you know, it's cold when people are definitely starting to get their sheepskins and furs out and stuff. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I talked to my man I work with in New York, and he said, I said, man, you looking like you got light gear on. It's cool down here in Florida, so I know it's cold up top. He said, don't let it fool you. I got my thermals on. He said he had double layer up here. I was like, oh man. He said it was 30-something degrees, man.
Yeah. You know, it's
30-something
degrees as the high.
30-something
degrees as the high. Yeah.
It's supposed to be cold this time of year. Think about it. I know people don't like when we were kids, but when we were kids, it was cold in November, December, January, February, March. It's not the same.
It's not the same. But you know what's funny? I just came from outside myself, and I was like, it's only 55 degrees, and I had to break out my hat.
Well, you had the classic clean cut, so you got to protect it. They say the heat evaporates the most from your head, so
the top of your head. So I got to protect the dome.
So you know the health implications going on already. You don't want to fall, susceptible to anything. So protect your head. Do all the other things that require to stay healthy on the good side, man.
On the good side. So what's going on in the world of sports and entertainment? Ooh, there's been some activity.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite sport, basketball is in a little bit of turmoil with LeBron and Isaiah literally getting into it, and the aftermath has been, crazy in terms of, who's really at fault and, the degree in which my man went in, Isaiah, and then from there, the fines and everybody's weighing in. I even saw some former players being brought on just to weigh in and what they thought about it. I saw Rip Hamilton. I never see him on TV, and not that I'm looking for him, but it was really interesting to hear some of the fodder back and forth on what's. Did you see it? Number one.
Of course I saw it. I mean, that was big news. I mean, hey, when you play basketball, and especially when you're a power forward or you're in the box in the free throw, elbows do come flying a little bit. It was excessive on LeBron's part, but what people don't see is the fight before the ball goes up, right? Because there's a battle in between trying to, you're pinching each other, you're constantly fighting for positioning and trying to get that rebound. And it looks like, LeBron just got sick of it. And he's like, I'm LeBron James. and that was interesting, man. I mean, the guy started bloodying up. I mean, I guess the guy forgot that this was LeBron James. You're not coming after LeBron James. No one is going to make sure you touch LeBron James. That's the NBA.
Well, he's the number one player in the world, so there's some levels of expectation that it ain't gonna get that crazy. It got crazy though. It surprised me that he, certainly, if anybody else was in that position, you don't know what you would do. Number one, so to, like you said, what was going on prior to where he went, very, very high level in his handling of his emotions, and to the point where, like, his own coaches, I mean, he was running through people like he was trying to score a touchdown on the other side. I mean, he straight bulldozed one of his own coaches and knocked him to the ground and kept charging pretty much like a bull. And then it was just interesting to see that who would say, I reserve the thought that I can't get that angry, so we don't know. I really have been at a point, I think each of us where we can say there's a point in our life where we lost maybe some control that we wish we would have gotten back. So we don't know what we would have done. With you, though, with that being the case, there were some, I think most of the commentary I did hear was that it was a little bit over the top on his end. And then there certainly was, he did come back and speak to it, to some degree in the heat of the battle, and some of the things that, sort of occurred that, certainly cooler heads could have prevailed, et cetera. And I think, he's, spoke to it in a way that I think now we know that he definitely, looked back at it with some level-headedness, and he even spoke to it himself. So, you like to see that. Man, the money was incredible. I saw LeBron is going to miss for one game. Do you know how much he's going to miss for one game? It's interesting. I mean, this lets you know the game is very, very high level now. What do you think he's going to miss for one game? This is interesting. What do you think?
He's getting paid $30-something million this year.
So what do you think he's missing?
So it's whatever, 82 divided by 30 million, and probably 600,000.
So he's going to miss 284,000 for one game.
For one game.
184 stacks. That's pretty impressive. And then the other gentleman is somewhere, below 50. Somewhere I think 48 or something. But
yeah, he don't make much money. And he's missing 2 games, right? He's suspended for 2 games.
So there's obviously discrepancies and where you're paid. You certainly can be withheld pay, but that's a heck of a pay to be withheld. That's college tuition, man. 2 tuitions somewhere. Good school.
Well, I mean, college tuition, it depends, right? Because
I'm just saying a reasonably good school at $50 a year, and I know some. That's tuition. That's 4 years of somebody's baby going to school. At least. When you think about that money, I know what's going to happen. NBA Cares is going to get it, and
that's right.
Distribute it evenly out to some good causes. So you could consider that LeBron's made a sizable donation to the NBA Cares or to the NBA Foundation, how they're going to allocate the resources. But
I'm happy you mentioned that, because I have a question to ask you, being that you were insider in the NBA. When they get suspended and that money goes there, do they get a tax write-off for that?
Oh, that's I don't know, because there's a sense that it will be used. I don't know if they track exactly how it's used in terms of, does it go to all 501c or whatever, but I would think that there might be some levels of tax implication. I have not heard it to that degree, if it is considered an NBA Cares donation. Technically, NBA Cares is not a nonprofit. All right. So the way it's
Oh,
built,
okay.
so it is considered a giving arm, but it's not at the time. Unless they change the structure, it's not considered a nonprofit. The NBA Foundation now that they approved and now that they have, maybe the arm that's getting the resources now, and that is a nonprofit. So we'll see. I mean, that's a good question. I gotta do some homework now. You got me thinking. I'm gonna go back and maybe figure out what they're doing with the resources that would be interesting to know. But no, on the other hand, our Bucks are still doing the thing here in town, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they beat up on my Giants,
I
but
was gonna say, I'm partial to the Giants too because spent some quality time in New York. I'm from the Northeast as well, so man, I just didn't see it getting like that though. I mean,
I kind of felt. I mean, the Giants has been horrible this year, man. It's just like I said, Daniel Jones got to go.
uh, well, he was the darling 2 years ago. I mean, he was running.
He was not, in my opinion, he was not the darling.
Well,
He was a darling for the general manager that picked him up, but he was not the darling. I mean,
I
no.
mean, he couldn't do no wrong. He was running the ball, passing. Everybody thought he was a gateway to the future. But I guess, just like anything, when you're in pro sports, and this is what players tell me, at some point, players study players so well that they figure out your game, and you have to keep evolving your game so your competition or your competitors don't predictably know who you are and how you play. So that's part of the game, just understanding how you build out who you are and what you do in terms of your skill set. So very interesting. And my other last note is college basketball is back. And we are seeing a very interesting lineup. We're seeing a lot more teams that wouldn't necessarily play each other. And this is good for college basketball. We're noticing that matchups are a little more diverse. We're seeing some of the smaller schools play the bigger schools. And that means a lot more parity across all levels. And we're going to probably see some young men that may make it to the league or to the G League one day because of the exposure that their schools are getting. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, in the world of music right now, I'm a little conflicted because today my man Rocky Bucano, which I'm going to actually eventually get him on our show. He is the executive director of the Hip Hop Museum that's being erected here in the Bronx, New York. 2024 will be when the museum goes up. It's going to be incredible. And they're doing a tribute to a person behind the scenes that a lot of people in the music, in the music industry, we all know him, but in terms of folks outside the music industry don't know him, but they know of all of his artists that he's worked with and helped promote it, such as Busta Rhymes, Foxy Brown, Fat Joe, Noriega, Tribe Called Quest, of course, Black Sheep. I mean, the list goes on. And his name is Jungle Brothers. His name is Chris Lighty. Chris Lighty died, I gotta say, almost 7 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. It's been a while. And this was in August. And as a matter of fact, he was one of the big promoters of the club called The Tunnel, which a lot of people don't know about. I mean, he was behind the scenes where all the hip hop artists on Sunday nights, they want to get put on. It was The Tunnel. That was Chris Lighty. And they're doing a big tribute for him on the Hip Hop Museum on YouTube. So I had to definitely leave early to do my own show, right?
Yes.
But if there was anybody that was a power mover, that would be Chris Lighty. This is the man that, between negotiating deals, I can't remember, 50 Cent, a lot of us are watching BMF. He was the person that spearheaded 50 Cent's career and his business acumen. He's the one that did the deal for the vitamin water, him and my man James Cruz. So after this, go check out the YouTube Universal Hip Hop Museum to see my man's work. Also, just a big shout out to 50 Cent's and this Green Light Gang and all the shows that he got going on. The Power franchise, and how he's navigating the inconsistencies that he's going through with Starz, the network, but he's carrying that network, which is amazing. So that's good on that part. Melba Moore has the #1 R&B record with "So in Love" in England, and big shout out to D Nice on the remix he did for Teddy Pendergrass and Philly International Sound. And on that note, our guest is here. You can see her work. It's bananas, right? But we're going to go into our commercial break, and then afterwards I'm going to introduce our guest, Miss Artsy. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We'll see you after the break. 2 minutes.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Catch my show that will be all up in your business. Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cuso. Every Wednesday at 12:31 p.m. My business experts provide insight for business entities and entrepreneurs. So join us every Wednesday from 12:31 p.m. to 1:31 p.m. at www.intouchnews.com. Catch my show.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers on the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
All right, we are back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. And today we have a special guest. As a matter of fact, if you notice some of her work, bananas. This is what I'm talking about. We going into the metasphere, baby. It's all about it. So the person I want to introduce you to, she's a pioneer in the VR lifestyle. So the VR lifestyle is virtual reality, okay? And she's making dreams come true to life as a 3D designer and architect in the social VR space. She's built nearly 150 virtual world templates for people to live in and experience within the past 12 months. From dreamscapes to luxury lofts, penthouses, commercial locations, party buses, private islands, private jets, many, many more. And there are over 2,000 experiences in VR utilizing her environments. She infuses the energy of love, healing, creativity, and abundance into these social experiences, and they can be experienced in AltSpace VR, an immersive social VR app in which she's an expertise. So we have someone that, if you're looking to really explore and become, similar to discovering something new and being a part of the next level of what people are calling it Web 3.0, this is one of the experts that's really kind of helping things happen. Because think of it this way, you look at my background, you see the skyscrapers in New York City, those are physical, but and those architects and folks are doing really well for themselves. But she's the architect for the VR world, which is where everyone is going. So let's welcome to the show Artsy. This is, and that's her hip hop VR name. So we just met actually on Clubhouse, but she'll get to introduce herself. So welcome to the show, Artsy. How you been, girl?
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Come on in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, so I'm super excited. I think I'm in perfect timing, perfect harmony for what has, transcended in terms of the public facing, story of the metaverse. No thank you to, Meta or Facebook for changing its name. But I was in the space before, they decided to change their name. But I was just being creative. I just found a new way to express myself as an artist, and I've been trailblazing the space, making experiences that people really enjoy.
And speaking of which, Artsy, what I want to tap into is, because our show is about making power moves, how you make money, how you attract power, and how you earn respect. So we're going to really talk about the money aspect of it. What is the opportunity in making money in the metaverse, in your opinion, and how have you done financially in maintaining this alternative world?
So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 17. I've never had a job. I've always just made money with my art. But this month, I've made more money than I've ever made in a single month on my journey. So yeah, wow. And I just changed career paths a year ago.
Okay. So, yeah, let's talk about this, because there's so many people that work in corporate jobs that are creative, and they're afraid. They have responsibilities. They might have kids. They might have, and then they're like, they can do interior design, or they can draw, or whatever case may be, or they can, do things with clay, whatever case may be. And they're so afraid. And I'm happy that, congratulations to you in the fact that you've made more in 1 month than you've made in quite some time. That's amazing. Kudos to you on that. How did you do it?
Yeah, so when the pandemic hit, I was actually in a pretty rough place because I was transitioning from doing photography, like in-person type events, to not being able to do that. And so I was also doing illustrations, and so I was building up my online store. And when the pandemic hit, everybody was doing that. And so I felt myself, maybe going down a path that, like, I knew my illustrations were great, but I thought I was heading into a market that was extremely saturated. And so I needed a little bit of an escape. So I, put my headset on and I gave social VR another chance. And I found myself in an art gallery hop. Like you would go to a gallery hop in real life. I found myself doing that in VR. And I was like, wow, this is an amazing opportunity to expose my work to people all around the world in a way that is, completely immersive. So I set up shop in the metaverse, and I was selling my art to people all around the world, in a completely different way. Like, it wasn't on Instagram, it wasn't on Facebook, it was in an Oculus headset that I was gaining a new following of people. And then I was like, I'm spending so much time in here, going to parties in the metaverse, that I wanted to have my own stuff. So I was building, houses, and, I had, wanted to live like this luxury lifestyle. So I started, building that lifestyle in the metaverse. And then other people saw that and they wanted that for themselves as well. And that's when the demand for VR lifestyles came into play. And so I started building people's dreams. And so I taught myself how to 3D model in October of 2020. And I have been building everything from scratch, like furniture, decor, structures, everything. So all the stuff that you see in these pictures next to me, I built from scratch. And they're a mix of my own, desires and other people's dreams. And so that just bubbled. So the tangibles that I did use to make money is I started a Patreon. So while I was in the process of learning, I started a Patreon, which is a membership platform, kind of like crowdsourcing. So people could pay anywhere from $15 to $50 a month to attain one of my templates. And they could then use that template in virtual reality, social VR spaces like Altspace, and invite their friends over, and they can put pictures in the world or do other cool things to the world. But that was basically my steady income. And then I had my custom clients, which over time, I got more and more for what I could charge for that, got higher and higher.
Wow. What questions do you have, Kevin? I know you have some special projects. I know this is intriguing to you.
This is, first of all, thanks, Artsy, for coming on the show. We always love innovation. I'm big on that. It's one of my pillars as I look at working with clients. And they're always asking me, how do I create and innovate, or how do I look at, and I always describe for them ingenuity. Use your ingenuity, and you are totally in one of the pillars being, it's ingenious what you're doing. So talk to us about that power you tap. What made you go hard in this space of pushing something unique? And not to say there aren't many women, but a lot of people, when they think of tech, they think of guys. So I really want you to help the women understand that they can be in this space and be competitive like you are. So what made you tap your ingenuity in this space? You said you were in it and you were out of it. Like, what put you back in and made you lock in and really focus down? And that's the part that people, when they're in it, they tend to give up. And then they figure out, maybe it's not for me. And that's maybe just the time they need to stay in it. So talk to us about that.
So I have to give a lot of credit to the community that I've built in Altspace, because there were avatars that were very stick figure-ish, and then we had we were robots at one point. And then when we switched over to another avatar system, we were able to make our avatars look like ourselves. And we saw this explosion of Black people, right? And so the Black community got together, and when we are present on any platform, we make things pop. And so when all of us, came together, our mixed cultural energy, and our wealth together, cultural wealth, our ideas started to flow. So a lot of events started to pop up, and so for me, I was making other people's dreams come true. And that was where I found my power, was that I knew how to take somebody's intangible expression and turn it into something they could see, something they could walk into, something they could turn into, an event that just cultivated a type of energy that was not seen anywhere else on that platform. And so as the Black community grew in Altspace, I empowered the community to have really dope, amazing spaces. And so that was, for me, the driving force, was that I was putting Black excellence on display every single day. And I was watching people come in and I saw their dreams actually manifest in ways that we didn't know was possible until we all got together. And so I found my power as an artist in that space because how I'm able to manifest my visuals and other people's visuals, it's in a way that there are no boundaries, right? Like for me to build an art gallery, I don't have to go talk to a bunch of people that own a gallery and ask them if I can display my artwork. I don't have to talk to, a landowner to see if I can build on that land. I don't have to go to a bank and get a loan to get that actually built. I can literally go and use free programs on my computer and I can build literally that structure. I can put it into a free game engine and put it onto a free platform, and then we can actually experience that in virtual reality. And so
boom. Okay, so pause right there, because we gotta pay some commercials. Woo! This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We are with Artsy. Check out these spaces.
We'll be back. Don't go nowhere. This is good stuff.
Cancer affects everyone, but minority populations are often hit hardest. Moffitt Cancer Center is working to address the barriers that keep some groups from getting the care they need. African Americans develop cancer at a younger age, have more aggressive cancers, and experience worse outcomes than the general population.
While cancer treatment is evolving with precision medicine, who is being left behind? We know for many decades that some groups experience a greater burden of cancer than others. We can prevent it, we can detect it early. It's very beatable when we find it early. I have worked with cancer patients during their treatment. All cancer patients have courage.
So my treatment was about 18 months. I had 3 cancers and 7 surgeries. But my son told me, like, Mom, you're the strongest person that I know. Moffitt saved my life.
During COVID-19, Moffitt is a safe place for your cancer care. Call now to schedule an appointment.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
All right, we back. We are back with Artsy, the architect behind VR Spaces, the alt space, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's funny. I got me an Oculus like several months ago. I barely had the time to use it, and after being in, and I've been like, man, I really need to be up on it. And my best friend Jimmy Mack, with Union Square Shoes, who's killing it right now, by the way, he's been like, yo, man, when you gonna get on the Oculus? And then another friend of mine who does a lot of cartoons type stuff, he's been telling me, bro, you need to do some events on in Oculus. So I'm so happy that you're here with us, Artsy, and representing our culture and the work that you're doing. You know, really, and I love, you know, the way you concluded about your superpower on truly taking advantage and making this your own, and knowing that you can start from the ground up using free software. So that's the ingenuity aspect that you're speaking of, Kevin, is, you know, taking something from nothing, making something out of nothing, which is amazing, and which leads us right into the power segment. So, you know, how did you discover your talent to turn something from nothing? You know, one of the guys I like to follow is Anthony Browder. You ever heard of him? All right, you gotta check him out, Anthony Browder. I'm gonna put you on some game. But and Anthony Browder is He's an architect. He's also an artist, and he talks about that what the average person says, you know what, when an artist creates something in mind, they created it from nothing. And he says, no, actually nothing is part of everything, because it's all in its basic elements, and it's you just tapping into the source and just kind of putting it together. With that being said, explain to us your creative process, your power. Like, where does that come from? How do you able to do what you do and then be an entrepreneur?
I think I've always been an artist. I grew up in a household where I was never void of having things to create with. My mom's an artist. She's prolific in her own right. My sister's an artist. My dad loves our art. He's our number one fan. He always pushes us, to share our art. And so I've always felt empowered to create. And so I've never strayed away from using technology to make a living for myself, to educate myself. So I'm always a student, and I think that's where a lot of my superpowers comes from, is because I never stop learning. I wake up and I go to sleep watching tutorials. I wake up and I go to sleep reading. If I'm not creating and I'm not eating and I'm not sleeping, I'm learning. And so I'm on a consistent journey as a student to learn new things, and I'm curious about everything. When I see something that I don't understand, like, I seek understanding it. So for me, during my creative process, I get into a mode where I know what the end goal is supposed to be, and I just let the energy take me there. So sometimes I can wake up at the end of building or the end of drawing or creating something having no recollection of the process. Because, like, I feel like all artists, in particular, like, we're given a mission, and we're given, like, these ideas to bring into this reality. And if we choose to take it, we can do it. And so when I'm given an idea, I run with it. I push it to completion.
This is good, and the reason why I think this is very good, because this is part of what we try to do to give people power and have them earn a level of respect in their respective industry that they choose to go to. Some people have a level of fear. What's fearful about what we are interested, what you're doing? Like, what's the fear in it for you, or what people don't know about this industry itself? Why should people be thinking about knowing more? And I know when people decide to take this plunge, there may be a level of fear, and I want you to demystify that for people so they embrace this, because we are going into this, what people will call the metaverse or the metasphere, and people have been there for quite a while, but now that a big entity like Facebook is like literally defined it for life, now people are, oh, what is this? Like, paying attention now. So how and why should people pay attention to this type of work, what you're doing? And if they have a fear about going there, can you help them understand in plain layman's why they should be considering it, and why it's going to be important to the future of how we do work and live and play?
Yeah, so I 100% agree, or I 100% understand where the fear comes from. Anytime we've made a technological revolution of sorts, people have been afraid of it. And the idea that we could get sucked into a virtual reality and forget about the natural world, forget about human connection, human touch, is fearful for, like, it's scary for people. But that's not been my experience. I've had really deep, genuine connections with people that I haven't been able to experience during this pandemic. And a lot of people's lives have been changed with this technology. And I think in particular, the fact that now we're being able to create money instead of waiting for money or working for money. Being in a space where you can create money is the most powerful place you could be, and being able to create a life for yourself. And so I think it's important for people when they're coming into this space to know that there is, room for them to create their own boundaries, right? Like, you don't have to be in a headset, 16 hours a day. I'm creating 16 hours a day, but it's not in the headset. I'm experiencing what I'm creating in the headset, but I'm not getting lost in the technology of it. So I still have plenty of friendships and relationships outside of the headset, outside of the metaverse. I still go for walks, I still go outside, I still value the sunshine. And I also have built parks and, canyons and landscapes. And, I've built all of those experiences inside the headset for people that, like to cherish those as well. So there's two sides to every coin, I think. And there are dangers to going into the metaverse too deep, but there are also dangers for, being too fearful of everything. So
I think that's pretty amazing. I think you touched it right on the head when you said you have to create boundaries, because it's through those boundaries that gives you that balance in regards to that. So when we talk about that, then if you were to, because you mentioned a very good point in regards to the fact that now people are empowered to make their own money and do things. Are there 3 recommendations, 3 to 5 recommendations you would say to help people transition into the metaverse or dip into the metaverse to figure out how they can position themselves?
So I think the number one platform that's doing the best job of talking about the metaverse is Clubhouse. Being in the right spaces on Clubhouse can really transform how much I think education is always number one, doing your own due diligence, not following the trends, but looking for the outliners. Follow the channels that don't have as many followers. Jump in the rooms that don't have as many people. Sometimes I'm against the grain. That's where I find most of the jewels, is in the places that are less excavated. I think it's important for people to just create. So using the tools like Blender or Unity or Unreal Engine, teaching yourself how to use these game engines or these 3D softwares, because those are the building blocks of the metaverse. Learning and teaching yourself how, what the blockchain is, what smart contracts are, what crypto wallets are, how to protect yourself, when you're using crypto. I think that's the basis of getting yourself started. And remembering that you don't have to be a consumer in this space as much as you need to be a creator in this space. And so
repeat that one more time, because I think that's a very, 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 very important point is because a lot of times, like we said, introducing technology, when Facebook came in and or a lot of the social media, we are the consumers. We are not creating anything so that we can benefit from it, which is why I love Mr. James Andrews, friend to the room, and that's how I got to meet you, is the importance of going into something to create value for others. So I know we got 1 minute, but repeat what you just said again, because this is such a strong point.
Yeah, I think it's important that people go in with the mindset to create instead of being a consumer. Being a consumer gets you caught up in this rat race that we see in real life, and you don't have to stay in there. The tools are here for everybody to create, and the education is here. You know, it's not so untapped where there are gatekeepers, right? There's so much free land. You don't have to spend 20 grand for a parcel just to get into the metaverse. There's plenty of free space for you to get started.
Got to go on break again, but
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky, the legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong with Tampa Bay Politics. And not only can you catch us on InTouchNews.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m., we now have a website at TampaBayPoliticsPodcast.com. We are on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Stitcher, which you can log in at any time and listen to Tampa Bay Politics.
All right, we back. This is Power Move, where celebrities ask these key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, how they earn respect. Only here on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. We trying to put you on some game. We letting you know that the power is in your hands to create the opportunities for you in this world. So thank you very much for that. On a respect level, you know, Kevin, I mentioned this earlier. How are you as a woman, as a Black woman in this space doing your thing? What challenges have you faced, if you faced any at all?
So when I came into the space, I was told that because I wanted to pay somebody to to acquire something that they had, right? What we call kits, to decorate my home space with. And they told me that we don't charge for stuff in here. And I was like, okay, but I don't feel comfortable just, taking stuff from you. I know this is a difficult thing to do. I want to at least, pay you something. And he was adamant, that they don't exchange money. That it was looked down upon. And I was like, well, I can't be in this space if I've got to sell my Oculus to, pay rent. So when I decided, that I was going to, build the metaverse, I made sure that, from the very day one, I was getting paid for it. And so word quickly spread that I was charging for my services, and I had a lot of pushback on both sides of the fence that, how dare I come into the space and charge money for this? And, people thought I was trying to capitalize off of the community. And for me, it was just simply that I'm an artist and I deserve to be paid for what I do. And if I'm going to spend all day and all night making everybody else's dreams come true, I can't do it while I'm out on the street. And I deserve to live a good life. So I continued on. I am the Black woman who revolutionized the platform. And I now have over 3,000 worlds that have my logo on it. So you can't be in alt space for more than an hour and not run into my worlds. And so I made it possible for everybody else to come behind me and make money and to start a career being a world builder in the space. And so a lot of people have come behind me and they've been able to do what I do. I've been teaching people, I've been doing personal lessons, private lessons for the past 8 months, teaching people, how to get in and how to make money and how to create their reality in space. So while I've been the most influential builder in the space, I've also been a teacher in the space. And so for me, I took on a lot of the brunt of the hate and the animosity so that other people could come behind me and do it successfully without all of that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big part of, how people establish themselves, being having that confidence, and that's another part of how people get where they need to be. I think you spent more time mentally saying, I'm going to do this, it's going to be successful, this is what I need to do, versus worrying about what other people say, what other people think, and whether or not, they like you or not. Always when you're doing something, it's always said that if you got more haters than people who like you, you're doing something right. So, kudos to you for fighting that. One of the things that I think is helpful is just a quick sense of what for some people, they're still maybe not sure what the meta is and the metaverse. Can you give a minute version of what you think it is for people so they understand that this is here, people? It is part of how we're going to be getting down and doing things, and they need to understand, even for somebody who's 18 years old or 80 years old, how would you define it, what it is, and how they should look at it?
So I built an office in Blender, and then I took it into Unity, a game engine, and then I took it onto the platform, AltSpace, and then I would actually have business meetings in that office. where I would stand at the door and I would greet them like I would in a regular office. And then I would take them upstairs and I would sit at my desk. While I'm sitting on my couch, I would sit at my desk with my Oculus on, and we would conduct a business meeting. I would ask them, like what their dream is, and then I would, take it offline, send them invoices, and get to work, right? When I have a home space, I would be in my home space, I would turn on YouTube, and I would be playing music. And then my friends would come over, and we'd be sitting on the couch in my home space in VR. Greet them with a hug. Like I could walk up to my friends and I could give them a hug, a virtual reality hug. And you actually feel that. We have podcasts. People do podcasts.
Hold, time out. When you said you virtually hug them, so because the Oculus is just these two remotes. Just recently, I don't know if you saw this. Recently, there's now like it's like a hand machine that actually you can touch and feel. Yeah. I'll send you the link after the show.
Yeah, so we're gonna get all this technology, right? But at the core, we're not this body. Like, we're our essence and our spirit and our soul. When we're in virtual reality, that's all you have. And so you're breaking down the walls of this physical reality and you're experiencing just people's souls. And so, like, when I hug an avatar, I'm not hugging an avatar. I'm hugging somebody's soul. Like, I'm right there with somebody no matter where they are on this planet. And so you can feel that energy no matter where you are. And so somebody can be sitting right next to me in a theater that I built, and I can feel them sitting right next to me. Like, you're breaking down a wall of an existence that a lot of people get trapped in. A lot of people get stuck in a physical reality that they can only see and sense with smell, taste, touch, sight. But in virtual reality, you're only left to very few senses. And so your ethereal senses are heightened. And so that's where I've found so much pleasure in virtual reality, is that I'm not distracted by so many things when it comes to human interaction. I'm seriously with somebody's soul.
That's definitely a space in which I think a lot of people are going to find some of the understand. They're not really going to understand it. Would you agree?
You have to understand it. Yeah. To understand. When you come into VR and I take you on a tour and I give you a hug.
Can I get one? Can I get into the space? I want to.
Bro, do you have an Oculus?
I'm gonna get one.
Yeah.
I'm coming to get.
Yeah. When I give you a hug, you'll understand. You'll get it.
I'm probably not gonna do it tonight because I'm tired, artsy. But I'm gonna reach out to you so I can link up on the Oculus, because I need to step up my Oculus game for real.
Yeah, and I actually need that tutorial. So before we leave, let's ask our guests to let us figure out how to consume you, follow you, support you, bring you business, and help celebrate this new space that you're in. I'm proud of you, and I really believe that you're going to do some great things. So tell us how we can continue to stay in touch with you. Go slow, because people want to follow you and take notes. So
Artsy VR, just Artsy, ARTSY, VR.com is my website. That's where you can see an extensive debut of my portfolio. You will also be able to enter my mini metaverse from my website, because I'm building my own platform where I own it, nobody else. And I'll be offering that service to other people, to where they can own their own metaverse. Because where I'm hosted, where most of my stuff is hosted, is where the larger community is, and that's in Altspace. It's owned by Microsoft. A lot of people getting into Web3 don't like, the Web2 companies, and so giving other people a way to branch out of that is what I'm focused on right now. Is for you to have your own branded metaverse. And so everything, you can reach me for lessons, you can reach me for meetings, and also tours to both my own metaverse and Altspace through artsyvr.com. You can also find me on Instagram at artsynvr. And I'm on Twitter, but I don't use it. I'll get better. But you can also follow me on Clubhouse. I do get on the live stages and talk about the metaverse. And that's at Artsy.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing your time with us. You know, I don't even remember my Oculus name. That's how bad it is for me. But I will definitely check you out. We will come and visit. I don't know if there's a way we can put this on, because that is the next level. Power Moves is looking to get onto the.
Yeah, I can help you cross platform.
Yes. We need to definitely do that. We need to definitely do that, and
broadcast into the metaverse and out.
Yes. That's what I'm looking. I mean, my man John Briggs was telling me to do that 8 months ago. He said,
I've
"Bro,
built multiple radio studios, podcast studios, TV sets, all of that's happening."
Yeah. Awesome. Well, once again, thank you for your time. Thank you, Kevin, for another great show. Once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. And if you have any folks that you want to refer us to, Artsy, to come on our show so we can promote them, please send them my way. Thank you. We out. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We all got something to be grateful for. We are alive.
Yeah. All right. Check out Artsy. We appreciate you. We'll be in touch, Artsy. Thanks, Joel. Next time.
Welcome.
Record.